Um, I'm out here. This is actually very, very nice. I like this park. You know, it's a lot better than my hair looks nice. It almost looks um, barren or ephemeral. I'm trying to think of that word. But I think ephemeral is the word. But this is really nice. I kept seeing this park because I was trying to find a place. You know, there are certain places. You know, it's a shame that I've been stuck in the shelter system for quite some time. I have some shelters that allow you to be able to stay for a certain period of. I mean, like they tell you that you have to leave, and but you don't have to take all your belongings. It's a living shelter, but you know, by the grace of God, by the grace of the Baphomet here, by the grace of my ancestors, I say, you know, you can leave it, but you know, you gotta leave, and you gotta leave at a certain time. You gotta wake up at 8. You gotta get the fuck out. You know, because they start cleaning, and that's understandable, so that you know you can have safe accommodations. But with that being said, you know, it's a shame that I've been, you know, stuck in this system. And they promised me at the start of this curse, even going, I'm gonna say this right now, even going back to 2015, when I lived in Miracle Mile. I was told some bags put this shit on me, but you know, I'm getting fucking kikes. Got a fucking nigga. I don't know what the fuck is going on, and it's hard for me to get clarification. With that being said, I saw in 2016, I heard from a Cuban shaman, I'm gonna call her that, out of respect, by the name of Tina Batera. He told me, you are going to be getting, and you're due for some great blessings, and I certainly am. As I say before, in the bare insanity, I got cursed to live in a life of prostitution. And I'm just going to say it right now because of, you know, something that, you know, I'm not going to go into too much detail, recently happened in one place where I was at. You know, there was a flare of somebody taking my shit. And thankfully, I was able to record it on camera. I couldn't, you know, I just, without saying too much. And so, with that being said, I saw in the dream state, and unfortunately, my higher self, you know, I should have gotten a fucking break. Break away from all that prostitution shit, that nastiness, that low vibrational shit. You know, I was starting on my spiritual path and every fucking day. You know, like one girl at the shelter. But anyways, I had a nightmare. You know, not a nightmare, but a dream. I was shown, I call them astral visions because, you know, it's not like, astral visions are conveying something to you from the astral plane. But I was shown I would be living a life stuck in homeless shelters, and you know, to make a long story short, I hate to say it, it materialized, and I have no spiritual support to help me get back on track. I have some, but not a lot. You know, one of my favorite sayings is, all falls on me. It all falls on me. You know, and I was told, I was actually shown recently by some spirits that I was going to have a hard life, and there were going to be diversions, but something would keep me stuck to the main tone, which is having it hard, having it very, very difficult. And I'm going to say this, that August 22nd, 2022 timeline, that timeline is very real. It's very, very real. And, you know, I had a spirit guide, a ride or die one. I actually brought a share referencing her because I've gotten that close to my spirits because of all this shit. I was shown that timeline, and, you know, this person, you know, I mean, it happened to Kanye West, and what the Illuminati imposes on you. You got to use 8127 hertz or 8147 hertz to get them off. They impose on you demons that are like high fucking level. We're talking like fucking Demiurge, Satan, and Zenu dispatch controlled motherfuckers. And, you know, you get astral harvested, energy harvested is happening in the poor Dell. And you don't even know about it. You know, I was told one good, you know, grace about what I'm experiencing as at least I know about it. But this motherfucker, I got like Ashley Terrell. I heard it from an entity attachment of my father from that timeline. It's benefiting off, she was the one who killed my parents in that August 22nd, 2022 timeline as well. She's benefiting off my blessings and being in my body. And I was shown those timelines, you know, I mean, I would hear it, and I'm a very skeptical person. I mean, seem irrational now, but I'm not. With that being said, I was shown it, and that's some terrible shit to have somebody set up as a sacrifice and have other motherfuckers take from you. You know, when somebody is meant for an extraordinary purpose, they put, I think it's a nacimiento or something in their timeline, something that controls hell realm. I keep getting different accounts of what that entity is. I'm trying to figure it out, but something super fucking powerful. That's like, you know, I mean, I don't even want to say it, you know, because knowing what I know about the Illuminati now, I don't, you know, I see them as tiny. You know, they're not really shit. You know, we all have an interconnection to the Baphomet. We all have, you know, they call it our inner demons, and that's very accurate. It's 72 demons, and it's the Ars Goetia. You know, the Seal of Solomon talks about that. Got the Seal of Solomon. It talks about that. Always wear silver, by the way, for spiritual protection. So with that being said, that little cat, I can't see worth the shit. So with that being said, you know, I mean, it's torturous to be stuck in a place where, you know, it's the most fucked up shit I was shown that's happening to me. You know, basically, all these people are getting rich off of me while I become schizophrenic. Supposedly, it's a real death curse that masquerades as schizophrenia, and homeless as part of a curse, so these people could come up. It's that whole dichotomy of you got to sacrifice somebody for you to come up, and that shit pisses me off that I'm the sacrifice. I remember hearing from a young lady, a bunch of people before this curse kicked in 2016. I'm trying to protect my shit as much as possible right now. In 2016, my consciousness, in 2016, that I, you know, was cursed lifelong. And I now see what they mean. You know, when I was a kid, I used to have a recurring astrovision of me and a bunch of kids meeting backstage Jay-Z. And this is back in 1991. Jay-Z, for all of you young people out there who were born in 1999, who were born way after 1997, you won't remember it, but he didn't blow up until 1997. So no way in hell I should have been having those astrovisions, as I called them back then. So with that being said, I found out in the spirit world that what that turns out to be is, like I said before, you have interconnections to the Baphomet. He put me or conjoin his to my Baphomet. This is, one thing I learned from this curse is occult science 101. He put me under his shit, his Baphomet, and allowed it to put me under what they call a dark shadow, a dark circle. Like circles are used for protection. Circles, in my case, were being used. Well, not being used, but technically. But basically, the feeling is that to keep people from seeing what's going on the inside. And I used to wonder, like, I'm going to show you my artwork. And I've been trying to do something with it. Keep seeing the cat over there. Let me show you. It isn't good, but this is when I started to get back into it. This is not that great. I'm trying to draw the ocean. It's actually really, really good. I was showing somebody at the place where I'm staying, and they were impressed. And, these are just from off the top of my head. This is good. This is good. Hold on a second. This is representative of a parallel universe. You can see it's different. It's got Saturn. Saturn in the spirit plane, I believe, governs the subconscious. It's the chaotic realms. Event Horizon showed it. And also the reincarnation matrix. But it also runs the hell realms. I got something fucking with me right now. So it also runs the hell realms. This is some wicked ass shit that I'm fucking dealing with. They be bringing all sorts of, higher selves, that energy band power for me. I kept seeing entity attachments of Jacob Elordi, making deals with these people who cursed me. I got an Ingrid Hybrid, putting wicked shit on me. It's something evil that externalizes your consciousness, so all sorts of shit from the astral plane can attack you and make you vulnerable to energy harvesting. That's basically what I've been combating. And it's these fucking roach attachments. And right when I was about to say something vital, they totally fuck it up. Something totally fucks it up. I saw Schumer. Amy Schumer is another one. Saw a bunch of them. So with that being said, this here depicts a parallel universe. That's why I wear these, jewelry for protection, spiritual protection. And this is her looking into our world. There's a story that's conveyed when I draw these, a story to tell. This looks not really like me from that past life, but I call it Elsa. Swedish past life. So this one, beautiful Creole woman, attitude, sparkly dress, jacket, kind of like what I used to have. This here, the eye, I've always been infatuated with drawing eyes, and it's because it depicts not only beauty, especially like what they call colored eyes. There's so much that goes on into colored eyes. Like, look at mine. Be careful because my shit's cursed. So just use protection. I forgot what you can use to put up barriers, but I like playing around with color and beauty, so I love drawing eyes. This is a Jewish woman, and it's influenced by Jewish ancestors. And, by the way, Jewish ancestors are great for protecting you from the Illuminati. I'm going to say that right now. And this is a doorway. She's in the fourth dimension. When I've seen and at times visited the fourth dimension all the way up to the sixth, it looks very surreal. There's like colors. It looks ultraviolet that kind of appear in and out, that appears around you. I believe that's what people saw at the murder and therefore sacrificed by the demiurge of the Christ, who became, sacrificed into Jesus' lamb, like Aleister Crowley's lamb that he encountered. There's a woman called Quitesh something on Facebook who talks about meeting those creatures. They, like the reptilians, like to trade material stuff, riches, for spiritual riches. And you don't want to do that. The Zulu tribe did that. They would say, I ain't trying to put people down. That's why they act like the Mexicans. The Mexicans' God, there's this Quetzalcoatl who shapeshifts into a white man. You know, I believe it's different from ours. That's a demiurge, but it's not like everybody else's demiurge. The demiurge of the Aztecs, I believe, is different from our demiurge. There was a transcript called Tricked by the Light. You can see it here. God, you know, is having skin the color of bronze, but theirs is a white man. That's why they worship white people in their culture to this day. I don't fuck with that. Everybody else is the demiurge that everybody else worships. That's why in Greece and all of that, they acknowledge the Virgin Mary as black. Because that last video I just made ended up at 22, is a black man. A black man with, just like the ancient Egyptian gods, with gold eyes. Another thing I learned during this curse as well is that the founders of our realm are very, very different from what we think. You know, they kind of remind me of the entities depicted in that film by, it's funny because it's called the Dark Crystal, and we all have crystals inside of us, quartz crystals, and I gotta get rid of this shit because the minute I fucking think of something, these things will start fucking with it within me. The Dark Crystal, in which you had the, I forgot because of this evil ass shit. I gotta get rid of these fucking roach attachments and all this evil shit that they invite. And they keep trying to throw out my child consciousness so that they could bring me closer to that. They're called, what's their name? Hold on. Get out the name. Here's some of the artwork I made, by the way, and, you know, when I had to go to the hospital. Because I was overwhelmed because I had no place to stay. I look like Lil Wayne, but that's actually a depiction of me. Here's some more. And that's supposed to be the water, the deep underground blue. This is my memories. This is how I look now. My memories of Malibu. And this was all done with oil. This is a depiction of New Orleans. Here's the energy of New Orleans, according to me. Eyes, I love drawing eyes. This is supposed to be me, Goddess State. Some more. This kind of looked like the bitch that put this shit on the some more sailboat. So I plan on trying to do something with it. I plan on, trying to go to some galleries, get my shit going, because I can't stay like this. Now, the reason why I brought that up, well, before I get into that, I was going to mention, I mentioned Jim Henson's Dark Crystal, and they had entities, they were bird-like entities reminiscent of the Egyptian Cometian god Ra, by the name of the Skeksis. Hey, how you doing, miss? Now, the founders of our Earth plane, this is some really, really deep fucking knowledge I'm about to convey to y'all. I just wish my shit I wasn't all fucked up to be able to receive it. Because it's interesting knowledge. I like to hear this shit, even though it's, don't entertain that shit. With that being said, when you look at Superman, because there's a lot of kernels of truth, like all of these people, a lot of these people in Hollywood, let me turn this around. People in Hollywood are nerd. They're educated about, inculcated, and cognizant of this. You have what they call, all right, when you look at the film Superman, they have KCAL, like where they'll have an apostrophe after two letters in the word. I know I look fucked up in the head. It's my shit ain't right. But I'm not. I'm still fighting. I'm still there. When you look at, I want you to look at these pictures of the ancient Sumerian founders of Sumer. It's Sumer. And it's funny how they say Sumer, you think of merman, mermaid. And that's actually the Nomos, who are feared in the universe. Nobody plays around with them. They come from Sirius and Syrian beings, which the Nomos who visited the Dogon tribe come from. They're nothing to play with. I'm not going to go into too much detail about what I learned about them, but our ancestors ain't nothing to fucking prey on. But anyways, when you look at them with these big old wide eyes, y'all some truths that, from what I understand, only like the fucking Illuminati would know, that I learned via this curse. Those are what you call roach attachments. It's a lot of deep knowledge, and I'm going to try to put myself together so I can be able to convey it to y'all. With that said, before I begin, let me go ahead and say, they don't say that the world is a stage, or that things operate like a movie or a video game. That's why even in the 3D, things seem to flow like, when you think of your own consciousness and how you see things, it's just pictures, moving pictures going by. It feels not surreal. It's real, but you feel like you're a character in something. That's why people have been using, because the Illuminati will initiate phrases to let you know about things, main character energy, and all that bullshit. We literally are, from what I'm about to tell you, are in the game. Those entities, through those roach attachments are entities. We got them of our ancestors within us. Usually in schizophrenia, entity attachments, roach attachments are activated from, an ancestor who's aware about you, and they either see, some big's going to come for you, and they either want to block it, or else enable you to be able to get it depending on what it is. And so they put their consciousness into that entity attachment, a separate consciousness from yours, and that's what creates a roach attachment. You know, this is all occult science that I'm telling you all. So with that being said, the way it works is, from what I understand, these entities it's very, very deep. So again, let me just try to put myself together. They were viewing us from the third, the fourth, I mean, not third, but the fourth, the fifth, the sixth dimension, you know, higher dimensions, like you would a video game. I'm going to tell you something as well, you know, before I go into it. I used to have this very, very vivid astro vision of Chris Redfield from Resident Evil jumping into my body. That shit is real. Those video games that you see, it's like the drawings I show you. Those are real. I was shown that at the beginning of this curse with Astro World. They're real. They exist somewhere in the universe. Even if they're not in your dimension, they still exist. With that being said, they sent roach attachments to manipulate. It wasn't just the creation of Earth, but of us humans, and engineer our path. You know, you hear a lot about with the Anunnaki, it was to come mine gold. And I'm going to say this, an entity attachment of Allah, I don't know how, but I felt a difference. I was shown that if you defeat the Illuminati, we go right back to the gold standard, and everything is equal. We get off of usury. It's beautiful, the timeline I was shown. With that being said, they created roach attachments of themselves to act as an expedition to interact with us. That's why when you look at the Anunnaki, when you look at the Sumerian depictions of themselves way back in, they're huge motherfuckers. They're huge. And it's because it's just like with that film, Men in Black was showing you at the end. And I used to theorize this even as a child, that we're actually, I mean, when you look at the solar system, for instance, and you look at the atom looks internally very similar to the solar system. Let me show you. Even our eyes, which are what they call the windows to the soul, our interface with our consciousness, our persona, our personhood, it looks like the cosmic universe. You know, there's different aspects of us that mimics the universe. That being said, I feel something fucking with me as I'm trying to convey this shit to you. With that being said, we're like infinitesimal beings operating within a larger giant. Something that depends on us to be able to move. Just like our atoms, molecules, protons, all of that are living things within us, you know, they have their own infinitesimal world that aren't even aware of us. It's just like how plants and birds and all of that here, really, you know, the trees, which resembles our hair, black people hair. They talk about, you know, 9 ether, carbon, which is the basis for the creation of matter. 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons, and as I always say, 666 ruminates with the material plane, the material realm. We're like these small, it contributes to an ecosystem. I wish I was the way in which I was way back then, way back when. So Anyways, with that being said, they went on an expedition to manipulate the creation of us entities of humanity. You know, people always try to figure out, you know, why did certain human species die out, like the Neanderthals and all of that, and they do exist in a different realm, them and the Cro-Magnon beings, but they're like straight up veritable fucking humans, like savage motherfuckers. They have stores and all of that, but they're fucking, they don't call people Neanderthals as an insult for nothing. Now, getting back to what I was saying, when you see stuff like that, like with Ancient Summer and all of that, those are roach attachments. The Zuzu, yeah, that's a roach attachment. That's a roach. Roach alien, they call them the nigger mark. You know, which I just showed you. And that's an alien species, very similar, because they look just like aliens, like roaches that you saw on Independence Day. That was code for the nigger mark. And think about it, niggu. You know, when this curse first occurred, I was told that, you know, they always talk about reptilian. And then you got the giant redheads, which I believe the Sumerian people derived from the Anunnaki. Then you got the tall blondes, and not all of them are good. You got some that's part of the Galactic Federation that's cool as fuck. But the red beans they're responsible for war on Earth. You know, there's an order to everything. They don't call it New World Order. They don't call it that shit for nothing. Again, I know I've been sounding really, really schizophrenic, but, you know, I'm trying to put it all together and sound as lucid as possible. With that being said, I was told something about a close relationship between nigger mark, just like you got the Naga surfing people, and black people. You know, there's a lot of spiritual content and power to us. That's why we stay getting sacrificed in Illuminati rituals. You know, another thing, and this kind of points to the whole thing with Quetzalcoatl. You know, I even heard in the spirit plane, because, you know, like I said, I saw Baron Samity's high self, and it's an old white man, looks like the KFC dude, just like the architect in the Matrix. This is what I'm about to get to.
Hello, Neo.
Who are you?
I am the architect. I created the Matrix. I've been waiting for you. You have many questions, and though the process has altered your consciousness, you remain irrevocably human. Ergo, some of my answers you will understand, and some of them you will not. Concordantly, while your first question may be the most pertinent, you may or may not realize it is also the most irrelevant.
Why am I here?
Your life is the sum of a remainder of an unbalanced equation inherent to the programming of the Matrix. You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, despite my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony, of mathematical precision. While it remains a burden assiduously avoided, it is not unexpected and thus not beyond a measure of control, which has led you inexorably here.
You haven't answered my question.
Quite right. Interesting. That was quicker than the others.
Others? How many? Others? What? Answer me.
The Matrix is older than you know. I prefer counting from the emergence of one integral anomaly to the emergence of the next, in which case this is the 6th version.
5 ones before me. 3. There are only 2 possible explanations. There were 5 ones before me. Either no one told me, or no one knows.
Precisely. As you are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly is systemic, creating fluctuations in even the most simplistic equations.
Control me! I'm gonna smash you to bits! I'm gonna fucking kill you! You can't make me do anything, like prick!
Choice. The problem is choice.
The first Matrix I designed was quite naturally perfect. It was a work of art, flawless, sublime, a triumph equaled only by its monumental failure. The inevitability of its doom is apparent to me now as a consequence of the imperfection inherent in every human being. Thus I redesigned it, based on your history, to more accurately reflect the varying grotesqueries of your nature. However, I was again frustrated by failure. I have since come to understand that the answer eluded me because it required a lesser mind, or perhaps a mind less bound by the parameters of perfection. Thus, the answer was stumbled upon by another, an intuitive program, initially created to investigate certain aspects of the human psyche. If I am the father of the Matrix, she would undoubtedly be its mother.
The Oracle.
Please. As I was saying, she stumbled upon a solution whereby nearly 99% of all test subjects accepted the program as long as they were given a choice, even if they were only aware of the choice at a near unconscious level. While this answer functioned, it was obviously fundamentally flawed, thus creating the otherwise contradictory systemic anomaly that, if left unchecked, might threaten the system itself. Ergo, those that refuse the program, while a minority, if unchecked, would constitute an escalating probability of disaster.
This is about Zion.
You are here because Zion is about to be destroyed. Its every living inhabitant terminated, its entire existence eradicated.
Bullshit.
Bullshit!
Denial is the most predictable of all human responses. But rest assured, this will be the 6th time we have destroyed it, and we have become exceedingly efficient at it.
Whenever you have a white god over you, that's a curse. That's why Mexicans under heavy fucking curses. You make great hard work. They do menial jobs, but they don't even see themselves getting any further than that. Those are curses. It's kind of like, you know, with New Orleans. Their insanity under a white god. Whenever you're under a white god, that's a curse. I think it's because it's not the demiurge. It's not the brother, the black man that's really in charge of the material plane. That's why we under heavy curses. That's why, you know, when I was growing up, my father used to say, we can't get ahead. You know, New Orleans as a whole, for some strange reason. Like, everything that would come to fucking New Orleans would turn to fucking dust. And I think it has something to do with that. With that being said, when you look at the Matrix, it pretty much depicts that. Like we're living in a video game, a simulation. Now, let me drop some more knowledge on y'all. There was a film that came out in 1997 called Starship Troopers, in which featured aliens, and they were very sentient but very ravenous. From what I've learned, it's something to do with Machu Picchu. The founders of our material plane were insectoids, or I believe insects as a whole, that control our consciousness. You know, you got the reptilians, you know, the Zulu encountered them. It goes all the way down. It's a system, it's a hierarchy, it's an order to things. And they control our shit. They control what goes on in the spirit plane. And they control destiny. And then you get these entity attachments, these interfaces they use to interact with you. You know, like whenever you do acid and all of that, you know, you get this shit. The Baphomet. Then you got the elves that I believe keep order. You know, they put everything back. You know, it kind of reminds me of a Twilight Zone episode where back in the 80s, where they had this guy who was like in between worlds, kind of like my favorite film, The Langoliers. And they had these men, and they actually are, they're blue, that come in the spirit plane and put everything back as it should. And we all have that connection that keeps the order of reality together. You know, I get fucked with so much, it's hard for me to do these videos, but, you know, when I feel some clarity, you know, take iron. Iron helps to, you know, hold your consciousness in along with vitamin E. It strengthens it. Both of them strengthen you. You know, again, people think it's reptilians, but it's actually insectoids that keep everything going. It's insectoids that keep everything going. I just had a thought, I'm sorry. And I believe that that's coming from a world that's much larger, that's beyond our, what's the word for it? Beyond our magnitude of sight, physical sight. We can sense it, but we can't see it physically because it's just, that shit's, we're in it and we're structured to be within it. But through spirit, where you're not so dense, you can go between the worlds, go between the different universes. Is big. You know, like I say, the end of Men in Black showed you. The Matrix was showing you. You know, I even saw during this curse when I had a lot of my consciousness torn out, everything is a green screen. You know, if there's a green screen behind everything. That's why they use green screens in movies. I know I sound like a fucking nut. In a lot of my videos, I confess I sound like a nut, but something seriously is fucking with me to make me come to that point of making a schizo fucking video. So trust when I say I'm not fucking gone. And I try my best to try to keep my mental and especially spiritual. You know, Florida water helps with this. It has Ngoli oil, which helps the spirit. It puts you together. I'm going to say something as well. Down to the trees, I saw it at the beginning of this curse. You know, when I had tree entities come and help. There's a spirit in everything. That's why in Jainism, they won't even touch that motherfucking rock over there. Not even a pebble. They don't believe in touching shit. You know, you think the Buddhists are fucking peaceful. Them motherfuckers there, they like, bitch, I ain't touching you. I don't give a fuck if you a goddamn rock. You stay your ass over there, I'm not going to touch you. I'm going to respect you like I would a person. So with that being said, the reason why I went into that, you know, in diatribe, it has something to do with the Illuminati, I got to, you know, remember, is because you know, it's some fucked up shit. It almost reminds me of what I was saying in order to things. Some got to be kept down, but not necessarily for something to come up. In the world of light, nothing has to be kept down. You know, I'm going to say something right now. The Illuminati keeps us from being illuminated. 7,000 hertz frequency can bring about light, I believe. I got to think of what it really is. And if everybody is in a place of light and on the same equal playing field, which is beautiful, like spiritually, everybody resonating, you can reach a level 1 society, but on a fair level. I'm going to say something right now. I found out in the spirit plane because I was, ruminating on him earlier. Johnny Gosh, who was a young man that went missing. Let me show you his picture.